Hello YouTube land, it's Debbie from the Canadian Crocheter. As you can see, I kept the orange. So I think if you watched the last video, I was talking about how I wanted to, my husband light my hair and it turned orange, and I was gonna go and correct it with, put red back in, but the few days that I lived with it, I liked it. So the hairdresser or hairstylist just fixed up the irregularities in the color, and I'm orange. I decided at the last minute, I'm sitting in her chair and I'm like, you know what? It's worked on me. So I like the orange. I'm gonna stay orange for a little while and we'll see what happens. So orange it is. The other thing is, as you saw the little clip in the beginning, I finished the sweater, the blue sweater, and this was from one of the older magazines that I found on Internet Archive, and it's the après ski sweater, and I made it. Now I used Mandala Ombre in, what's this color? Harmony. And I only had 4 cakes of this, and I have a teeny little bit left. So that is why it is not even. The coloring, the stripes are not even. I did not have enough yarn to actually color control. So I actually have 4 cakes of the Mandala Ombre in, I think, Happy, you know, the bright colors. I'm gonna make another sweater out of those. I just saw Ella made a cardigan out of it, and it's so fabulous. I want one. But anyway, I don't know if 4 cakes is enough to make a cardigan, but it is enough to make another sweater like this. Now, loved this yarn. Love it, love the way it feels. The pattern is amazing. The stitch is really easy to remember. I did get stuck. Well, I shouldn't say I got stuck. It's an inset sleeve. So basically you make the, it's all in pieces, which you have to seam. But you basically make, it goes out here and then it goes in, and then the sleeve is made to kind of like a bulb, and it kind of fits in. I have to say, this is an extremely well-fitted sweater. That's why the inset sleeves. I hated doing them, but honestly, it is a better way of seaming. You know, your seam, it's not the raglan like this, which from what I understand, sometimes has a tendency to have too much bulk here. It is not the boxed sleeve, which the seam would go this way, which I have no problem with. But this was my first time introduction on the set in sleeve, and believe me, it feels great. I'm very, very proud of this sweater. Yes, it probably would look better if it was matching, but it was great. What size did I make? I don't remember what size I made. I made a large. So yeah, and it's pretty tight. So I'll show you again. It's pretty tight. It's pretty close to the body. So keep that in mind. Yeah, so that's done. I am so pleased with this sweater. This will go into the do again pile. I really, really, really enjoyed it. You also have to keep in mind that these are older patterns, so they had, the yarn that was used was Red Heart Eco Ways. I had to go look it up, and it turns out it was an Aran weight, which is number 4, right? And then I had to calculate, then I had to figure out how many, because they don't tell you the yardage, so it just tells you the yardage of the yarn, but it doesn't tell you the yardage. It just tells you how many balls. You need 8 balls. So I did a quick calculation, so keep that in mind, that they're using yarn that no longer exists. So it's a really, really, I thought it was an easy pattern aside from the seaming. But again, I learned something new. First time I ever did an inset sleeve, and it was well worth it. And it fits so much nicer. There is no bulk in here. So got that done. Okay, what else did I do? So I think it was last week or the week before, I was watching Laurel from the Dabbling Hook, and she was making this scrappy blanket, and I believe that she was holding 4 strands of yarn together, and I loved it. So I decided to make one. Now I have a ton, as I'm sure all of you, a ton of lone skeins of yarn. And aside from a hat or maybe a little cowl or maybe mittens or something, you really can't do more than that. I mean, the yarn, it's only 1 ball of yarn. So I went and I collected all these one-off skeins, no matter what color they were, and I held 4 strands together, and I came up with, oh my God. Let me show you. I'm gonna try to stand up and show you. Sorry. But just a double C2C. But look at all these colors. Okay, so the blanket is pretty massive. the initial thought was to make it for hubby. Or to make it for myself. But then hubby was sitting here looking at it and he's like, oh, that looks pretty good, I want one. So I ended up extending it to make it for him. And so this will be for him here in the living room if he needs it. Now, have you ever heard of weighted blankets? I'm sure you have. They started out for people with sensory issues, you know, maybe on the autistic spectrum or something like that, for very many different people, but people who don't have those kinds of issues found that they were comforting. So lots of people are buying up weighted blankets. But let me tell you, the amount of yarn that was used in here makes it almost like a weighted blanket. I should have weighed this, I'm sorry I didn't. Which is fabulous, I love it. So finished it and then showed it to hubby. And oh, let me show you, see? It's just 4 strands, and as soon as one ran out, I just added another color, and it continued on and on and on. It's great, awesome, 4 different colors. Anyway, finished it, and now hubby wants one for our king size bed. I'm like, oh my Lord. The good thing is I probably will have to buy more yarn because I'm not breaking up, like, you know, the sets of yarn that have like 6 or more skeins, because you can get a bigger project out of that. But you know, maybe I will find in lone skeins again. But it's a lot of work too, and the weight of it, the weight of a king size would be crazy, but he really wants it. It's kind of like a quasi weighted blanket. And then not only that, my daughter came for 2 nights. I am a new grandma, whatever. I have a grandpup. If I find a nice picture, I'll put it here. His name is Brooks. He's a beagle. He's a baby beagle. She came to introduce him to us, and he's so cute, but oh my God, so much work. So much work, because he's just curious on everything. But anyway, he's only like 8 weeks or 9 weeks old. So he's absolutely adorable. Anyway, I'm digressing here. The reason I brought her up was because she tried on this, and she uses a weighted blanket. She actually has one. She weighed herself, or had figured out how much weight she needs, and blah blah blah. So she actually has one, but she says she wants one like this for her couch. So now I've got an order for 2. And I'm one of these people that I'm a process crocheter. I'm not a product crocheter. I love the process of doing. Once it's done, I rarely want to do it again. And especially if I get orders or requests, I really don't want to do it. I don't know what it is. I just want to play with yarn. I am not, the end result really is not what keeps me going. It's the actual process. I could just sit and crochet. If it turns out into a massive blanket, great. And I like to learn new stitches. I like to be pushed and see what can the yarn do and what can I do with a hook and yarn. So I'm not thrilled on having orders, but I'm thrilled that people, my family members, like what I make. So we'll see. We'll see if that ever gets made. So I'm very, very pleased with this. Right now, like I said, it's hubby's using it. I'm gonna put this down. Oh, it's really quite warm. Hubby's using it right now, so we'll see if I get any others done. What else have I done? Now, what else? I think I mentioned in the last one, I'm doing a couple of collabs. I've not touched the calendar cal yet, but I did watch Clan of the Cave Bear, if I find a picture, which was my C movie for the Movie and Stitch collaboration that Terry over at Yarn Joy podcast started. So my C movie was the Clan of the Cave Bear. And I had said last time that I remember reading the book and thinking it was a fabulous book, but I never watched the movie. So I did watch the movie. Now I'm going by memory. I wasn't as impressed with the movie as I was with the book. But again, I've not read the book in decades. So I don't know if it's just my memory playing tricks on me, or if the movie, excuse me, I seem to be losing my voice, or if the movie is actual to the book. It was okay. I wasn't impressed with it. So what I've decided to do is I wanted to reread the book. But everywhere I go, they want like $30, $33 Canadian for the book. And I'm like, I don't want to pay for it. So I went on my library, or the local library, and I put it on order. So it's going to come from another library, and when it comes, I'm going to reread the first book. And quite possibly, if I still enjoy it, I will continue with the series through the library. And then I'll have a better judge of whether the movie was good or not, or whether the movie was comparable to the book. But right now, as it stands, going from my memory to what I saw in the movie, I wasn't impressed. Anyway, and I had decided when I started doing this collab that I'm going to make a hat for every movie that I watch. So watch this movie. Now, this hat needs some explaining. I was looking at the movie, and they don't wear any headwear at all. Like, I guess they didn't feel the need to protect their heads. But they had, like, you know, leather pelts and things, you know, fur pelts, leather, just hand stitched together. So I thought, well, I can do that. But I didn't want to do lateral leather, you know, color, because I had gray. And so what I decided to do, I made a hat, and it was just a half double crochet hat, and then I bordered it in fur. And then I had to take it one step further, so I surface stitched using the fur yarn. I think this was Lion brand. And then so I surface stitched to make it look like pelts being sewn together, or little pieces of leather being sewn together. And I love it! I know, right? Like, it's crazy. But anyway, it's a good, and I know they did not dye their leather, so they're not gonna have gray. I get it. So I don't need you to be telling me that it's not exact, it's not accurate. It's not intended to be accurate. But I thought it was quite cute, and it's quite comfortable. Having this fur around your face is pretty comfortable. So I made myself a little hat to make it look like seamed pelts. So that was my input. Now I'm also gonna do letter D. I had not chosen a letter D, and I'm probably jumping ahead of everybody else. But the other night, we were sitting there, and hubby puts on this movie called The Dig. And like I said to you before, my movie preferences are eclectic. Anyway, this movie had Ralph Fiennes, I think that's how you pronounce it. And it's about an archaeological dig in England in the late 1930s. And it's not an exciting movie, it's not anything, but I found it fascinating. I couldn't even crochet because I was like watching and there's no excitement. It's very slow movie. But I was sucked in by the times and what they wore. I was paying attention to that, and I love Ralph Fiennes. So, and it's based on a true story. I want to say that the site is called Sutton Hoo, H-O-O, Sutton, H-O-O. Anyway, it's based on a true story, and I thought it was a lovely, lovely story. And then I thought to myself, I'm gonna do a hat out of that after the fact, not while watching, because obviously I wasn't crocheting while I was watching. And I was paying attention to what they were wearing, and there was these, the main character was wearing what they call a flat cap. And I thought, okay, so then I went on the hunt, and I found this pattern. I think this is a paid-for pattern, and it's called, that's flat cap. So I made a flat cap. What do you think? It's pretty cute, right? I thought it was great. Turned out better than I expected. So I made it, and this is using just Bernat Premium, and I can't remember the color, teal. Now they wouldn't have worn teal. There was usually like a wool of type, like a gray or browns or blacks and things like that. That's what they were, but I wanted a little color. Now, like I said, if you decide to get this pattern, be forewarned, it's not as easy as it looks. I had some issues. Normally I can whip off a hat, even following instructions, you know, like I thought, an hour and a half. This took me probably in total 5 hours because I kept having to rip back. I had some issues, and I cannot even, and I don't know why I had the issues. I cannot even blame her because she has, it's very, like she's got pictures, she's very detailed. I guess I just wasn't in the paying attention mood. So I'd be going along, oh, I missed it. So go back. The way, and you know, and you're doing this and you're trusting the designer, because when you made the cap or the top part for the size that I made toddler youth, obviously, because I have a tiny head. And you have to crochet to a certain size first before you start going in, and it's 8.5 inches. So I'm looking at it going, oh my Lord, that's so big. This woman doesn't know what she's talking about. No, you have to trust the designer because it fits perfectly. This is a perfect fit for me. So trust the designer and read and reread, and she breaks it down. Well worth the money. I don't think it was inexpensive. It was maybe, I want to say maybe $3. Well worth the price of the pattern, but be forewarned, she's gonna push you out of your comfort zone, especially this brim part. So basically, when you do this, oh, there's a whole bunch of them here. There's the brim underneath, and then this whole part is done together, and it just sits on top of the brim, like that. I did take it one step further, and I just sewed a slight basting to keep this top part with the brim together, so I don't have to fiddle with it. But when she has you do this brim, she calls it the brim stitch. Oh my goodness, I'm like, I don't know what she's talking about. I don't know what she's doing, blah. And I just kept rereading and redoing and pulling it out. And when it finally hit, it was like, she's a genius. She's a freaking genius, because it creates this super thick, almost like a double layer fabric. And so that will stand on its own. This part will stand on its own. So yeah, in the beginning I was not happy, but towards the end I'm like, why didn't I think of that? And look at the texture. It's such a cute hat. I love it. I probably will not wear it because, as I said before, I'm a toque person. I just put a toque on and whatever. But, oh, I think that it's like a golfing hat, right? Like, don't golfers wear these? So cute. Anyway, like I said, be prepared to be pushed out of your comfort zone a little bit, but the end result is well worth it, in my mind. You could be different. So I'm quite pleased with that. So I got my C and D. I'm sorry I jumped ahead, but I'm quite pleased I got that done. The last thing I want to talk about, a couple of weeks ago, I noticed that we were at about 8,800 subscribers, or this channel is. So I thought, oh, I should do something for if I get to 9,000. So I reached out to Herrschners. Well, I wanted to do a giveaway, but as you all know, the shipping kills me. It's ridiculous. I want to spend my money on yarn, not on shipping. And when the shipping is so much more, like I put together a box that I sent out recently across the Canada and didn't even cross the US. Everything inside was about $27 worth. It cost me $58 in shipping. So that's like ridiculous, and it bugs me. And you know what? We're not rolling in dough, so and I don't want to spend the money. So I thought, oh, what else can I do? So I thought gift card. Well, first up is Amazon. But if you looked at the prices of yarn on Amazon, ridiculous. Since this whole pandemic thing started, the prices have just skyrocketed. So I thought, okay, I don't want to do that either. And besides, depending on where you are in the world, you would have to use, you know, Amazon.com or Amazon.ca. Like, it's not that easy. So then I thought, okay, well, what about a yarn company? And my first thought was a Canadian company, right? But their shipping rates would eat up what I would. And this is no ding against Canadian companies. I want to support Canadian companies, but I also want to get a good deal. I don't want to feel like I'm getting shafted. So I came across Herrschners, and I thought to myself, well, I just got an order from Herrschners. I order from them all the time. Their shipping is reasonable. Their customer service is top notch. You know, anytime I've had an issue, they're right on it. And they have a selection of all kinds of things, not just yarn. If you're into yarn, you can buy kits, knitting, crocheting, beading, anything like, what are those, diamond dots, puzzles, clothing. They sell everything. Not only that, they have a sister company, Willow Yarns, which gives you even more options. But in just the yarn alone, they sell Premier, they sell Lion Brand, they sell Karen, they sell all of that stuff. So why wouldn't I use them? And like I said, I put in an order, I think it was just, I got it last week, and I think there was 12 balls of yarn, and the shipping cost me $11.80 or something like that. And that's going over the border. So, you know, and that's part of the reason why I don't order from Europe much anymore, because I always get dinged with duties and taxes, which don't bother me. The duties and taxes don't bother me. It's the processing fees that like DHL or Purelate or whatever, they charge. I don't want to get on a tirade. But Herrschners, it was, like I said, there was 12, and I can't vouch for what the shipping is like anywhere else. But to me, here, the 12 balls cost me $11.80 some odd cents. That's pretty good. So I thought, it's a perfect fit, right? And they'll ship all over the world. And so I thought, okay, I don't know how their gift cards work. So I reached out to them, and I just sent out an email saying, how do your gift cards work? So in response, and I said, you know, I'm gonna be having a giveaway. How do your gift cards work? And the response that I got back was, congratulations, we want to be involved. I'm like, okay. totally blew me away. So he was asking me, well, what were you thinking? I said, you know, I think $50 is a good amount. And he goes, I'll match it. So guess what? We're gonna do a giveaway on this video, and you're going to get 2 $50 gift cards to Herrschners. I'm gonna mail it to you, and you're gonna use the codes that are on here for your purchase. Now, just a slight disclaimer. Yeah, so technically I am responsible. I am sponsoring $50 of this. It's American, by the way, US dollars. I am sponsoring $50 of it, and Herrschners is sponsoring $50 of it. Which completely blew me away. They are so nice. They are such a great company. All the more reason to use them. So the winner will get $100 to spend on Herrschners.com. The slight thing that I should bring to your point, they work like the prepaid Visa cards. So you will have to, if you go over that 100, you will have to call them and put in your order, and they will split it up. You can use $100 off your gift card, and the remaining you can use your credit card to pay. But that's the only way. You cannot do it online, which from what I understand is very common. I'm having some issues with another company up here in Canada. I have their gift cards, and not only can I not split them, I can't use their gift cards on their online store. That's irritating. Anyway, so that's the only thing. If you plan on spending more, even if it's a cent more, 1 cent more, you have to call your order in. But if you do less than 100, the remainder will stay on the card. You can use it the following time. So how great is that? I am so like just blown away. And not only am I blown away, I'm blown away that we've not only reached 9,000, I've superseded it. And I was just telling my husband this today, going, I don't understand it. I've been on here 3 years now, and it's slowly kind of accumulated, you know, it's great. But I don't sell you anything. I don't promote anything. I don't even ask you guys to subscribe. We just got there by luck. We got to 9,000 by sheer luck. I can't explain it any other way. Because all I get on here is, come on, have a cup of coffee, and blather away about my life and what I've made. I don't understand it. I appreciate it so much. Yeah, so this is my way of trying to give back a little bit. Yeah, so what do you have to do? Now you have to be over the age of 18. This giveaway is void where prohibited. You should know your own laws in the area that you live in. It is open internationally. I will mail you the gift cards. Oh, by the way, they put them in my real name, which is Dobrila, but it's actually Debbie. I will write down who it's from. So you have to be over the age of 18, void where prohibited. I don't think you will have any problems with duties, taxes, or anything, because it's just an envelope. What do you have to do? From what I understand, I'm supposed to ask you a question. So the question is, in crochet patterns and crochet speak and whatnot, what does DC stand for? The letter D and the letter C. What does it stand for? Leave that down below. And how long will I leave this open for? What are we looking? March 3rd. So it's a Wednesday, March 3rd. Let's leave it for 1 week. So Wednesday the 10th, at midnight it will close, and then on the 11th I will draw a winner from the comments, and then I will mail you these gift cards. I hope it's exciting. I hope it's enough. Like I said, the shipping these days is bonkers, absolutely bonkers, and it just drives me nuts. I don't want to be paying that much in shipping. It's ridiculous. It absolutely is. Anyway, that's all I have. I'm working on a whole, again, camera keeps telling me to stop talking. Anyway, I just want to end this and say I hope everyone is having a wonderful week, and we will talk soon.